Wowzers, March was something else. Is it just me or did it feel like it lasted 331 days instead of just 31 days? I'm here today and going to share with you our March 2020 budget report. Hi friends, welcome to the Budget Bounce. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen, and on this channel I talk about living life on a budget on our journey to financial freedom. We are paying down debt, we are saving for the future, we are just trying to get through the day-to-day, especially the day-to-day that's happening right now in the world, and I am sharing every step of that through our YouTube channel, The Budget Bounce. So if you like to talk about that kind of thing, hear about that kind of thing, participate in that conversation, then hit the subscribe button down below and tap on the bell to make sure that you get notified every time I post a new video. So let's just go ahead and jump into March and talk about how our March 2020 budget went. So we start with our income here, and you can see that we are looking at the actual column here. So this is our budget report. When I do our budget setup, we talk about budgeted. Today we're talking about actual. And the first thing you'll see here is we started with a carryover from February of $478. We had our regular salaries come in. We used $1,080 from sinking funds, $300 from our emergency fund, $979, and then $111 came in for Matt's tax refunds. And that brought our total income bucket that we were working with to $11,741, which was $641 more than we anticipated. Moving on to giving, you can see here that we didn't plan on anything, and then we ended up spending $176. And that was because things that were in February that I thought were going to happen in February didn't happen, and we had to push them to March. And because of the chaos going on in my life, which was the reason why we didn't do any of these things in February, I forgot to include them for March. So here we are, and we spent $176 in giving. All right, in housing, we didn't really have anything out of the norm here. We had $1,054 for our mortgage, $165 for utilities, which are our monthly gas and electric utilities, nothing for the water, garbage, sewer utilities, $177 for mobile services, and $101 for internet, bringing the total to $1,499, which was right on target. All right, so in transportation, you can see here that we were under in gas by $94, so our expenses were only $255. OnStar was $21 like planned. You can see we had a pretty hefty repair bill for our Lucerne. This was part of our overall plan on what we were doing with the vehicles. The first thing was to get a different vehicle for Matt. The second thing was to do the repairs on the vehicle that Henry bought from us, which was our Lucerne. And so that came to about $1,300. That includes all of the parts for all of the work that has to be done and all of the labor for the things that we couldn't do ourselves, meaning, and by we, I mean Matt, that Matt and Henry can't do themselves. So we actually took it into a shop and had that work done. They still have to do the brakes. They're going to be replacing the pads. The rotors and the calipers are going to just do all new based on the advice that we got from two different places. Anyway, that is how we ended up spending $1,300 on the Lucerne in the month of March. So that brought our total to $1,569, which was $144 over what we planned. Yeah, so it didn't turn out quite as bad since we were under in gas, but still, we had almost all of it in sinking funds to cover this, so that was fantastic. Next up is food, and as you can see, we were way over in groceries. We spent $863, which was darn near close to doubling what our grocery budget was. We also went over in dining. We were at $154 instead of $100. That put the total food bill to $1,017, and it was over by $467. And this was our stocking up for the chaos that was coming. And it was funny because we did this the first week of March when things were starting to get a little iffy, and people around me thought that we were kind of going overboard by buying 3 weeks of groceries instead of one. And we did that one time, and then later in the month we did it again. And And at the beginning, they all thought, well, I don't really think that's necessary and that kind of thing. And then by the time they realized that it was necessary, they were fighting empty shelves where we were not doing that. We got everything that we wanted and needed and had it all on hand. And then we just supplemented. And actually, we supplemented what we were running low on, like fresh stuff. Plus, we bought some more because of the fact that we got news that it was likely going to last all the way into the month of April. So here we are. We spent $863 on groceries, and the dining was, obviously it was takeout, it was drive-through, it was whatever. We do have more people in our house right now. Our daughter and granddaughter have moved in, and so we are feeding 4.5 people, I'll say, when we decide to do that. So we don't go very often, but it adds up quickly when you have the additional people. And that is one of the things we didn't know at the time that we stocked up. We stocked up for 3 people, and that was another thing, was we needed to stock up to have 5 in the house. So, all right, moving on to the Henry category, you can see we spent $20 on school fees, and that was a check that I wrote in January, and it showed up at the end of the month in March. It was for an activity that Henry was involved in, and they just never deposited the check. The other thing I did was I spent $100 on food service. I did it like on the 1st or 2nd before I knew that they were going to not have school anymore after March 13th. So I didn't need to be adding any money to his food service account. And now he has plenty to get him through the end of the school year, but he hasn't been in school since March 13th. So he may or may not need what's there. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, we spent $120, which was $20 over what we planned. All right, in pets, we had grooming was $15. That's our every 4 weeks for our long-haired cat. In food, we had $40 for our dog because I can't seem to get the repeat delivery schedule figured out on that, and we ran out before it got delivered. We didn't have anything for meds. In vets, we had $54, which was for the pause plan because we didn't end up having a follow-up appointment like I thought we would. And then nothing in other supplies. So that brought our total to $110, which was $104 under what we planned. And in insurance, we had nothing unusual. We planned on $771, and that's exactly what we spent. Our total was $771. All right, so in entertainment, we had our normal expenses. The streaming was $20, HP Inc. was $3. Cinemark went up from $9.62 to $10.69. It must have gone up $1 per month. And then in family entertainment, we spent nothing because we went nowhere and did nothing. So we came in at a total of $34 for entertainment, and that was $48 under budget and what we planned. So I guess that's good, but this sheltering in place stuff is for the birds, guys. I know we are not the only ones experiencing it. Anyhow, $34 for the month. In health, we had $325 for our flexible spending accounts, $33 for the gym, and $133 for healthcare, and then $29 for prescriptions. So our total health expenses were $521, which was $61 over our plan. In extras, Matt got a haircut in before everything closed down. This Sully's Pub was actually it was a business lunch, so we had sinking funds to cover that. And then Image Cosmetics, this was my hair and brow appointment. Again, I think I got my appointment in at the beginning of the month before they closed all the salons down and everything. So thank goodness for that. So our total here was $81. And all of this, while it wasn't planned for, like we didn't budget for it, all of this was covered by sinking funds. So it essentially did not impact our bottom line for the month. All right. And in crap, I forgot about that. I didn't have anything. So this is awesome. We didn't have anything sneak up on me. In envelopes, these are like electronic envelopes. We had $39.09 for my personal spending, $46 for Matt's spending, $123 for household, and $53 for miscellaneous, bringing the total to $262, which was $27 over budget. So then moving on to the budget bounce, we didn't have anything in education or equipment, but I did have $73 in subscriptions for the month. They were annual subscriptions that renewed in March, and nothing in travel. So our total was $73, which came in $55 under what I expected. And that's because I canceled some of the there were a couple of subscriptions that I canceled, or maybe there was one I think that I thought was going to be more than it was. That was another part of it. So I canceled one, and there was another one that was less than what I thought it was going to be. So we came in 55 under. All right, next up is our savings, and here you can see we put in $50 to our emergency fund and then $70 into the kids' accounts. We did $100 to M1 Finance, I'm going to come back to, $153 to Matt's retirement, $167 to my retirement, and that made the total $541. You can see it's 100 more than what we planned, and that's because we decided to open an M1 Finance account, and that is our first attempt at like a brokerage account, and we don't plan on putting a lot into this because we'd rather put our money into where I can get a match. Like we want to increase my 401k where I'm getting a company match. And, but we wanted to get this account open. And if that's something that you're interested in, M1 Finance is an online brokerage firm that you can purchase fractional stocks from. So if there's a stock that you like that costs $500, but you don't have $500 to buy one, that's okay. You can buy a fraction of that stock. So I don't know what the lowest fractions are, but I know that you don't have to pay the whole amount. And you can set up auto reinvesting. So any of the earnings that you make off of your stocks, they will just reinvest it for you right back into your account to buy more fractions of more stocks based on how you set it up. So I'm very much a novice when it comes to M1 Finance, but if you are interested in opening an account, I know that they have Roth IRA options and some other savings options. So I do have a link down in the description below. If you would like to go ahead and use that to open up an account, you will get $10. That is a referral link, and I will get something as well, but it won't cost you anything. So again, the link's down in the description if you're interested, but this is something new and I'm not sure how much we're going to be putting in. Like there's obviously no plans in April to do this. And let me just say, I did this, we talked about it, and I did this before everything hit the fan. So I did it right around the first of the month, like within the first 3 or 4 days was when I made this purchase. And then everything within 10 days, everything hit the fan. And so had I known that that was going to turn into what it has turned into, I never would have made this purchase just because of where we are in our financial journey. Now, if you are somebody who is stable and you're maybe financially independent or have lots of money in an emergency fund and that kind of thing, maybe that $100 wouldn't be a big deal to you. But if something happens and one of us stops working, we're very lucky that we're both still working. But if one of us stops working, we're going to wish we had that $100. So that's really kind of where I was at. No regrets. It's done. But I would have definitely done things differently had I known what was coming. So just wanted to make that clear for everybody because we don't have we don't have extra money to invest right now. We're just trying to take advantage of the down market and buy while things are low. So, and hopefully they'll grow then exponentially as the market comes back when this is all behind us. So anyhow, so let's look over here. We have our total spent was $300. We pulled $300 out of the emergency fund, which took our balance there down to $12.79. And when you look here at all of our just regular savings accounts, we have $1,974 in these 4 accounts. And then these are our investments and retirement accounts. And these numbers are a year-to-date number. They're not the balances that are in the account. I just like to keep track of how much we're putting in. That brings our total to $3,161 in savings. Okay, so then let's move on down to our sinking funds. So let's just jump in. Auto insurance, we put in $275. Auto registrations, $39. We didn't put anything in business travel. We put $80 in our city utilities, nothing in clothing, $25 to estate planning, nothing into gifts, $50 into Henry's school account, $50 into holidays, nothing into the imaging cosmetics, $81 into the fund that we have for my other life insurance policy, which has nothing to do with my employment. I have a standalone term life policy. Then we have nothing into healthcare, $50 into one check ahead, $80 to online subscriptions, nothing to pet expense, $25 to technology, $340 to travel, $100 to vacation, $100 to vehicles, $15 to our wedding anniversary fund, and that brought our total to $1,310, which you can see is less than what we originally planned. We started with $7,054. You can see we earned a few dollars in interest, but then here you can see what we used. So we pulled 20 out of gifts, we pulled 60 out of holidays, we pulled 125 out of online subscriptions, and we pulled 875 out of the vehicles fund. So that was a total of 1,080, which I'm just going to scroll real quick back up to the top. There's 1,080. It's a formula that pulls right out of that field. So it says G124 up here. So if we scroll back down here, this is line 124, and it's column, I know you can't see it very well, but column G. Okay. That brought our total at the end of the month to $7,291 in our sinking funds. And while things are a little hectic, I have to say that while much of this money is earmarked for specific things that are coming, pandemic or not, they're coming, like we have to pay our auto insurance no matter what. We have to pay our auto registrations no matter what, our city utilities, things like that. But there are other things that may change. We are continuing to put money into our travel and vacation funds, but we may not actually get to do the things that we want to do. As a matter of fact, in the travel fund, we had 4 trips that were going to happen this spring that would have eaten through most of what is there right now, that none of them came to fruition. 2 had nothing to do with the pandemic, but 2 did. They just went away. And so we aren't doing any travel in the spring. We don't need that right now. Actually, that's for the money that I'm saving right now is going to be for a trip that I'm going to do in September. And I don't need that money right now. So if something were to happen, we would absolutely, that'd be one of the first funds we would go to pull money in if we had trouble, like paying all of our bills because one of us lost our income or something. So it makes me feel much more secure. While it's not necessarily earmarked specifically for our emergency fund, I feel so good knowing we have $7,200 in the bank here. And we do have another, almost $1,300 up here in our emergency fund by itself. So, we're okay. We're going to be okay. Because between unemployment and other things, we would be able to make this stretch quite a little bit here. Let's move on to debts. So let's just talk about our debt section for a second. So I have it broken into 3 sections. The first one is debts that we have paid off already. And you can see there are several listed here, and we've paid off $25,434. These are completely and totally gone. We're not dealing with them anymore. And so we have paid off much more than $25,000. This is just accounts that are completely and totally done. Our next section is charged off accounts, and these are accounts that we are not actively paying on. They are very old charged off debts. They total $9,547. And you'll notice here before I go to the actively paying that we have 2 different font colors. One is black, and that is anything that has only Matt's name on it. And then anything in pink has my name on it. We just needed to differentiate between the 2 because when we were putting our list of debts together at the very beginning, and we had I think when I first started there were 34, but we ended up with 38 or 9. And Matt said, for these really old things, I don't want to focus on those right now. That ship has already sailed. It's already impacting my credit score, all of that good stuff. He said, I want to focus on things that we are current with, and primarily things that were in my name and Jen's name. And if you don't know our story, this is your first time here or you haven't watched it, I've got a couple of videos. I've got our debt confession, and I also have my sick and tired of being sick and tired moment. So if you want to watch those 2, I will link them down in the description below so that you can go watch those. They really kind of tell a lot about our story. And also I have a podcast that I was on that talks about our story kind of in long form. And it's specifically about our story and how the YouTube channel came about and all of that. So I'll link that playlist as well. All right. So moving on to actively paying here, we have Medic EMS. This is an ambulance bill that when the insurance gets their act together, we're actually going to get all this money back. But in the meantime, to keep it out of collections, I needed to start paying on it. And they said $20 a month would do the trick. So $20 to that, $50 to Care Credit, which is a credit card, and then $25 to my Capital One card, $154 to my 401k loan, $55 to Matt's private student loan, $190 to my Lowe's card, $400 to our other credit card, and then $550 for our car payment, and then $1,815 to child support. I'll come right back to that. $200 to our family loan, and $225 to our student loans. To Matt's student loans. So let me go back up to child support. So this is child support. This is arrearage. This is back child support that Matt owes, and so you can see he has quite a balance. We started with $36,000 at the beginning of March. That means that when he gets a federal tax refund or a state tax refund, that money automatically, they grab that and they send it to child support. And so when I referenced that he had his tax refunds come in, they were applied during the month of March. And so the total is normally $725, but with the additional that he had sent in from his taxes, then it's $1,815. So we had quite a drop this month, which was fantastic. Our total payments were $3,684 for the month. And you can see down here, we started with $198,434, and we are ending with $195,155. All right, and I mentioned that we had $3,684 that we paid towards debt total, and then after everything was adjusted for interest and everything else, our total debt killed off this month was $3,279, which was 35.6% of our regular salaries that came in, and the tax refund as well. So our regular salaries plus the tax refund, this number is 35.6% of that, and you can see that up here in the formula. Let's see here. Let's go back over here and talk about our expenses and our income. So our total income was $11,772. I'm sorry, our expenses were $11,772. Our income was $11,741. So we did go over by $31. Now the good news is we always keep a buffer in our account, so $31 is not a big deal. We recognize that is not okay. We should not be doing that all the time. You know, we came in with a big overage. We carried over $478 to help with paying on the Lucerne repairs that was left over from February on purpose. And then we had sinking funds to help pay for the rest of it. So that was awesome. And, you know, going over is something that I do not like. I would prefer that we have money left over to carry to the next month if possible. But this does happen every once in a while. And it's okay if you have a little bit of a buffer for this to happen every once in a while. There were very unusual things happening in the month of March for every one of us. And so things like this are bound to happen, and we are not beating ourselves up over it. Let's go back down over here to our totals again. So our total paid debt to date, our total paid off debt to date is $57,170. And that is 22.7% of our original starting balance of $252,326. So we are steadily making progress. It feels really good. We're down into the 100s. We finally got out of the 200s. Like, that took forever. It took us 2 whole years to get out of the 200s. We're feeling really good considering what's going on in the world and how much chaos and uncertainty there is. And we just aren't sure. I mean, we're all kind of adjusting to this new normal, but it's not normal. And we're adjusting to the thought that, okay, it'll be for a few more weeks or maybe a few more months, but this is not normal. This is not what we expect life to be. You know, the uncertainty of when is one of us going to lose hours or pay or lose our job altogether. Those are very real things for us, just like they are for many of you. We are just doing what we can to try to control our expenses. April was a new month, and we're trying to be smarter with our money this month. We do have additional people in our household now, and that's going to be that way for a while. It's not just coming to visit for a couple of weeks. Our daughter and granddaughter have moved in. We are so excited to have them. It just means that we have to make some adjustments in how we plan for things, and not a big deal. We just adjust. That's what it's all about. And we are lucky that we have set ourselves up to be able to do that, because I think a year ago we could have gotten through something like this that's happening right now. And we would have been okay. It would have been more stressful. We weren't in as good of a place then. And 2 years ago now, when we had just started budgeting, I probably would have flipped my lid scared. I was already scared. It's the reason why we started budgeting. It's the reason why I started the Budget Bounce, was to really document our journey and try to figure this stuff out. And we did not have it figured out at all. And we were just starting. We started February 1st. So can you imagine if February 2018, we start this, and March 2018, something like this pandemic hits and the world is just turned on its, upside down. We had nothing in savings. I would have been terrified. I'm sorry for those of you that are going through those kinds of things right now. Know that I pray for you. I hope that you are all able to find peace in some way through all of this, even if things are really, really bad. I'm doing more videos about the stimulus package and stimulus payments and other parts of the package as well, to hopefully give you some information about benefits that are available to you through the U.S. stimulus package. Please just hang in there and know that you are in so many people's prayers. There are so many people praying for those who are really, really struggling right now, and that's about the best we can do from afar. We are here to cheer you on, and if you want to share anything in the comments, we certainly welcome that. We want to, the community is here to help raise you up when you need to be picked up, and to cheer you on, and when things are going awesome as well. So with that, let's continue the conversation about the stimulus payments that are going to be coming any day now. Click right here and we will be talking all about them. I will meet you over there.